Hello, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you're joining us from. Hi, hi. Sorry, we're a little bit behind schedule. Lagos traffic had to show itself. Good evening. Hi, I see our guest is live. Excellent. Hi, Bye, Grace. Hi, Jenny. Nice of you to join us. Sorry if I am a little behind schedule, but we will get right into it. Yay! There you are. Oh yeah, you have to bring your head down because you have cut off your head.
I'll figure it out. I'll
Rearrange,
figure it out.
rearrange your
Oh,
phone
yeah.
because I see your mouth only.
Take it higher. Is it better
Yes,
now?
yes. Yes. Excellent. We
Hello,
can see
everyone.
we can see your head now. Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you very
Thank you.
clearly. Hi. Okay. Now let me set my phone well. Good. We're going live. We're live. Well. Yeah. Hi, Temitope. Welcome everyone. Today is today. Lagos traffic going to show itself. I say it's a lie. I will get here. I will be on time, and I will show up. Well, I was a little bit behind schedule, but we're here now. Good. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, Adenike, all the way from from that side. So tell us, what's your time difference? What's the time for you right now?
Actually, it is past 8 anyway. Let me check. It's 8
Okay.
some.
Okay.
It's 10 past
10
8. Yes, I'm 2
minutes
hours
past.
ahead. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Awesome. So at least we're getting you when it's not work time, so we have your full attention. Welcome. So good to have you. Good to have you. I see our people joining. Welcome everyone. Today we have a lot to talk about, so we'll just dive right into it. So, what is the conversation for today? Like play. 2024 is running. It's racing, and I was like, oh my God, this is April, and April is Q2. So, I mean, while people are thinking, well, there's time, you just wake up and you find yourself in December, and you're wondering, where did all the time go? Where.
Uh,
And I had to, while I was rushing to start, I forgot to put my do not disturb so that people stop disturbing me. So, can you hear me now?
I
Okay.
can hear you, but I can't see you. I don't know
You
if I'm
can't,
the only one that can't see.
you
I
can't see
can't
me anymore.
see. Yeah, I couldn't see
But
you for a while.
you couldn't see me right from time.
Yeah. From
Oh,
when I
wow.
joined, I think
You didn't see
before I
me.
joined. So I don't know if it's just me or if it's everyone.
Please, people on the call, can you see both of us? And can you hear both of us? Because I can see you clearly. I can hear you clearly.
Okay,
Anthea can see. Oh,
okay.
wow.
Yes.
So we're going to be missing the interaction that comes from seeing each other. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well, we're just going to assume there's a phone call. Okay. So today we're talking about 2024 goals. You know how most of us have got into 2024 with a lot of energy, like new year, new me, and all of the things I wanted to do and all. And look at us, we're twinning with our hair now. Come on. So I just woke up yesterday and I was like, oh my God, this is April. And April is officially the start of Q2. That means that whatever goals I had set in 2024, goals for Q1 are due. Like, hello. So, I mean, if we don't wake up to the call very quickly, we will just find that we're in December and we've not done anything. I mean, has that happened to you before? Many times you set goals, you be excited and all of that, and you want to just do a lot of things, but you now get in and you find you know time is all gone.
Life,
So we
yeah,
have we have to make a habit of reviewing our goals. We have to make a habit of constantly checking what's up with you. So tell us, what do you think? I mean, when you saw the topic, what was your first thought? What was your first thought about this topic or what we want to talk about today? Share with us.
reviewing your goals. So I think I'll just start with a
Okay.
story. I know for a couple of years, I'd always have multiple streams of income
Okay.
as part of my New Year resolutions. It was always part of it and all. And I think, I don't know, I can't remember which year it was exactly that I was like, wait, I've been writing this thing consistently,
Mm-hmm.
and it keeps getting carried over to the next year and then the year
Mm-hmm.
after. And then I'm like, okay, wait, so let's start a bit more seriously. So what I realized was that until I realized that these goals I needed to execute.
Mm-hmm.
It's always easy to put pen to paper and write something, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. But one thing I learned was that I didn't get to sit down to ask myself, why do you want multiple streams of income? What's the why? And for me, that was one of the reasons why I realized were that caused it to be a recurring, I won't
Yeah.
call it a goal, but then I thought it was a goal because I didn't really have a real understanding of why I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And so I'm getting out of the life, so I want to just restrain myself. But yes, when I saw the topic, I was like, hey, see, set up. And
Mm-hmm.
but I believe it's also timely because everyone is still feeling like 2024 is new, but we
It's
have
still
entered, like
new.
you said, done.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't catch ourselves, we'll get to
Mm-hmm. Yes.
50%.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before you know it's half year, before you know we're at the end of the year and you're thinking, oh my God, where did all the time go? Because it's happened to me over and over and over again, and I had to learn to catch myself and constantly review. So why do we need reviews? To be honest, why do people need reviews? I have a favorite saying that says, what you do not track, you cannot measure. What you do not track, you cannot improve, right? So if you're not tracking your execution of your goals, you don't know whether you're doing right. You cannot do better. You cannot, you will just be going with the flow, right? Can you still hear me?
I
Can you
can
hear me?
still hear you.
Okay,
I
great.
can.
So basically, the reason for reviews is to track our progress. And if you do not track it, you cannot tell whether you're doing well or not doing well. You really can't improve. I really can't know until you just wake up at the end of the year and realize that, oh my God, it's year end. I didn't meet my goal. So part of what we discussed at our WGA conference was goals, proper goal settings, and why people you know, do not achieve their goals. We're not going to be talking about why and how and all of those things. You can get our replays from the WGA conference and watch that. However, we already assume that everybody here has goals. You've set your goals well, nicely. And now we're just talking about it now. We're saying to you, bring out those goals. Oh yeah, open your notepad on your phone, your journal, in your book, wherever you wrote them out, and score yourself, right? Score yourself. What have you done? I typically teach people at the beginning of the year that when you want to set goals, set them in quarterly buckets. So you don't just put all your goals and say 2024, I'll do this. No. What will you do in Q1? What would you do in Q2? What would you do in Q3? What would you do in Q4? So that way you're able to spread yourself and you're not struggling. Some people just pack everything in the beginning of the year. I want to do all of this by March. Then the rest of the year you're just looking and you're not really doing anything. So instead, spread it among the quarters so that each quarter you have a focus and you have a. So now, if you had done that, what was your focus for Q1? How is it going? Have you met the goals? If anybody wants to share with us what one of their big item goals for Q1 was, so we can just talk about it. But Denike, while we're looking for the audience to tell us
Let me
something
start.
about it. Yeah,
Let me. So for me, I actually went beyond going quarter by quarter. I actually went month
month
by month.
by month.
We
Excellent.
we actually I think we had an exercise in TOCI in December, 16th of December. I'm actually checking my notes. And I can't remember what the point was, but we were supposed to write something about each month, what we expect, what maybe anything that was significant for each month of January 2024, and then that was supposed to be us in our goal setting. So I did that exercise, and I picked every month. So there was like a central theme or topic for each month,
Right.
and then that helped me in setting my monthly
activities for the month.
yeah. So what I basically did was that I more or less, would I say, apportioned my life, think going back to the wholeness, the whole woman course we did something last year.
Yeah.
We have the different wheels of your life. So the aspect of life. So I went through the wheel. I was like, okay, so in January, what do I want to do in this wheel? What do I, so per wheel, I went, including even how I want to look fashion wise. I put goals for every single thing that could come to mind at the point at that time. So I don't know if there's anyone that wants to speak. That's why I don't want to talk too much, so that I won't take up.
Talk, you are here for us today. You are our guest today. So talk. So tell
So
us.
like I said,
You can review your own goals for us for the first quarter and tell us what were your plans, which was the highlight, which one did you achieve, which one did you not achieve, which one is still in progress, which just as just so that people can understand this thing and see what the process we're talking about is.
okay, before I answer you, first of all, let me greet my bestie. My bestie, hi! I'm live, yes. Hello, Fab Mom Forever. Okay, so my one of the major ones, I already knew back in October or November that I was going to have to travel for work. So I knew it was starting in January. So it was like the first thing on my list to settle down and make sure that at least I settle as much as I can here. And so that was the first one, get accommodation, and then try to help the family settle. Then I already knew as well that my daughter was going to be in a maths competition, and I honestly did not want her to travel. Part of it involved travel. So I wrote that down. I actually put a prayer point that God, in case you are not with me, in case you are with me or in her not traveling, please scatter the whole thing. Let it not work. But I didn't want to be the one that will spoil the thing. So I wrote down one thing down. And so when he walked out the way he did, I was like, thank you, God, for answering my prayers. And it wasn't like we pulled out. So that was one of the things I wrote down too. My business is because I have quite a number of streams that I put to sleep for a while because I realized that I needed to work on my mindset first. My mindset was not mindset. And if you remember, I joined the WIG. I don't even remember what WIG means, but I remember it's WIG program because
growth.
I got the bestie from there too. But much more than the bestie, it also helped me work on my mindset because I had more of a fixed mindset and less of a growth mindset that I realized needed to be addressed. And so I also just like to just do like a quick crash course on goal setting to start with. Before 2021, I'd been setting goals, yeah, but by 2020 or so, 2020, by the end of 2020, the Holy Spirit told me that what I'd been doing was that I would set the goals and tell God to come and follow me. That I needed to change my behavior. So in writing your goals, let it be the other way. Ask God, what is on the calendar? Because God is the one that created us. He's the one he has a plan for us.
Yeah.
We are not the one to give him a plan and tell him to follow. Our
Baby girl said this on the day she was on our live here. She said the same thing, that you don't come to God with goals and say, oh yeah, God, they are my plans. Help make them work. It should be the other way around. Say, God, what would you have us do? And then you now work with what you get. And I think that was very profound and really changed a lot of things for me too.
It's a really important one. So I'm just saying it again in case there's someone that is the way I used to do, like written things when you're telling God to come and do it. Please just spend time to go back and fix the order. So what I do these days is that yes, on December 16, there were things I could already see that me and God had talked about, I could put and work with and ask for timings. And also, the way I like to think about it is that God is the project owner. He's the one that is the owner. Then you are the one. So you, the so he's the sponsor, he's the one. So anything you are doing, you have to collect permission from him, including the timing. Because some things want you to do them in 4 years' time, but if you go and rush, you will crash.
Just scatter.
All of that. Exactly. So timing too is important. Get everything sorted with him. Okay. Thank you very much, Becky.
I hope it's not my internet.
I Okay, so basically, most of the things I wrote for January were kind of like around settling down, make sure that I'm okay, because if you're not settled, you can't do much. And I would say that most of what I wrote for January, because I was quite intentional about my goals. I found an app, a Microsoft to-do list. I think that's the name of the app. And one of the things I like about that app, the app will send you a notification and tell you that your tasks have not forgotten you. They are still waiting for you.
Can you imagine?
So that used to make me laugh, and of course, it will get me on track because it pops up on your phone. Which is, I wrote something down about something that will help you to achieve your goals better or your tasks. Write them in places where you can see. Places, put them on their mirrors. For me, I know that I'm on my phone a lot, so I set reminders as in timers on the phone. I have pop-ups, so there's no how. Like now, I know that by 8:30 my time, I'm supposed to be speaking with my daughter, but I begged her to allow me to speak to 8:45, so I have till 8:45 here, long and short. Okay, so for February, I continued with settling down. Of course, I put in my spiritual goals as well, the number of Bible chapters I want to read, etc. They are all on the plan. Okay, one of the ones I'll talk about some that I haven't achieved yet and why. So I had something about to plug into the real estate community in my new place, but I'm still settling down. So I'm going to move that to Q2. I wasn't able to achieve that in Q1, but with reason. Yeah. So maybe at this point I can talk about catching yourself. I think you started talking about it. Sometimes you will drift.
Yes.
And you probably good reasons. So it's important for you to catch the drift. And in project management, they will tell you to come up with a recovery plan if you've drifted too far away from the plan.
Yeah. But I mean, you
All right.
only know that if you are checking, right? Which is why I'm stressing the need for reviews. I mean, it's very important when you set a plan, is because once we start with a goal, the next thing we do is the action plan. This is how I'm going to go about it. You now tell yourself that, okay, this is what I need to do daily, this is what I need to do weekly, this is what I need to do monthly to achieve that goal, right? And so now, where do you get to the point? As you are setting your task, you should be setting your review dates. So are you going to be checking up on yourself every 2 weeks or every week or every month? What is it going to be? And so you have to, as you check your review dates, that's when you catch yourself to know whether you are actually, meeting up with the plan or not. And once you find yourself that we are falling behind, you can now double up. Like we have a course going on right now, and it's executive author, and it's for busy professionals that are trying to write their own book. So and in the last 2 weeks, our action word has been double up, double up. So we find that anybody's behind, if you're behind where you're supposed to have been from your target, we had a target at the beginning of the course. The action is now just double up. If you're writing 1 hour a day before, you're going to be writing 2 hours a day because you have to catch up. And so that's the whole concept of reviewing your goals and re-strategizing. If you know that you had put together a small time for this thing and you're not meeting up with the time, the goal is not going to go away. It's not going to, like your app says, your tasks are waiting for you. They will be waiting for you. They're not going to go away. So you have to find an action item, find something to do to catch up, which is why we use the word double up in that my community. So please go ahead.
Okay, and just to pick up on that, I'm glad that you mentioned the point of the community. Accountability also helps. And Coach and I were on a group where today I dragged some people again to ask them that how far with your goals. I think it helps you as well when you have people, apart from your apps and all of that, you can always override app.
You can always
When
click.
you are like, or you can even go and just check it as done, though you haven't done it. But when you people that you're accountable to, and so I belong to communities where we do where we have accountability sessions and all of that. And then on top of that, pastor at the time, he and we agreed that we'll be meeting every quarter, once every 3 months. I would tell him what achieved and with evidence, and tell him that I was supposed to start a course, so this is what I've done, blah 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 blah. So it helps as well. It helps you know when. Of course, then one other thing I've noticed with humans is that when you know that you have to give account to somebody,
That's it.
doesn't even matter.
Yes.
And I'll
Even
just
if it's your child, even if it's your child, you just want to like save face. Absolutely.
For example, today I had a review with the clients. I'm trying to get people to close out action items. And I've been telling the lady that works with me that these people that you're dealing with, that you're sending them email reminders, they won't answer you. You have to use strong hand. So I set up a meeting with the client. One person that's been posting her. When I told him that join the meeting, come and tell us what you said, he quickly went to go and close the action. So that he'll be able to see in the meeting that, oh, I've closed it. And so all of those sessions and all, they help you because and for those of us in TOCI, go and meet someone like Pastor T, she will follow you up and you will do it. So it really helps. Those accountability sessions, they help as well. So let me continue with what I was saying. Then I put something in February for wellness checkup for me. Wellness checkup for me. I haven't done that. I will move it to Q2 because I still need to get my health card, but it's really high on my list. Then, of course, I put something about getting a water management course on Udemy and Coursera. And because I'd written it down, it was sometime last week or 2 weeks ago that I was like, this thing that I've been postponing and snoozing, I need to do something. And then I went on Coursera. I found the course. I started the course. And of course, I fell along the wayside, but I'm back on track.
Okay.
And just I started thinking about that, I reconnected with an old friend. Turns out that her husband is actually has a PhD in water management.
Look at that.
I got to talk to him. He's so excited. And when I shared in the community, Omolara also shared something with me just because I wrote it down. It's helped me. It's more or less, it brought it into focus. I remember talking with a friend yesterday and I told her that imagine if you're on the football pitch and you're just everybody's just kicking the ball around and there's no goalpost. You're just kicking the ball. But once you put that goalpost there, you now begin to have focus. You are trying to get the ball into the net, right?
So everybody is focused.
So it helps you focus when you write it down. And for someone like me, when I write things down, it sticks in my brain. So even if I'm not looking at that sheet anymore, even as I'm sleeping, I'm still remembering what I wrote down. But if I was just talking with you,
because it's an action of the brain. It's actually an action of the brain to bring to focus that which you bring to the fore. I mean, there's something I wrote down. Why do we need to review our goals regularly, right? Now, number one says a destination without a roadmap is a wish. Remember when you were saying it, many times you had said you wanted to have many streams of income, but you just found out that at the end of the year, you are still there, you have not done anything. The key missing ingredient was that there was no roadmap. You had no clear action plan to how you were going to get that. You just wanted to do it. So it was just a wish. So you have a destination. Absolutely. You have a destination, no roadmap, it's just a wish, right? Then number two, it says, without repetition, goals will escape the mind. So now this is why you have to constantly check in. You have to constantly have your accountability meetings, people that you're checking in with. And like I said, even if it's a group of friends, it's not as if they can do anything to you. Even if it's your child or your family members, it's not as if they can beat you. It's not like your boss that you say will mark you down for appraisal. even the fact that you have to report on something. If you're reporting every week that, hey, I'm not done, you too, you feel somehow. You too, you start to ask yourself that, excuse me, what am I really doing? Yeah. So repetition helps goal not to escape me. Then number 3, we will lose desire, which is what causes a goal to lose its value. So if you're not reviewing it, you lose the desire to do it. Because it's not more top of mind, you now lose the desire to keep going, right? And most of the time, what is spurring us on that goes our why. So keeping your why in front keeps the desire up and keeps you going. Then number 4 says progress equals happiness. Oh my God. Now, when you are reviewing, right, you have something to do in 6 weeks. You review at the end of the first 2 weeks and you find that maybe it's a weight loss goal, for example. You want to lose 10 kg. After the first 2 weeks, you find that you've lost 2 kg. That progress is enough to make you feel like, yes, I've got this, and you keep on going. It spurs you on to continue. Okay, tell us about that yogurt.
I just it out because initially I was looking at the price. By the time I convert it to Nigerian, I'm like, this money is plenty. This money is plenty. But I've got this. It's what I use to reward myself when I achieve something I feel is useful. So the reason why I've earned it today is that I actually came on this live.
Yeah.
This live is the goal that was hit. And so I'm going to give myself some strawberry. And that leads me to say sometimes you want to put in some things to reward yourself. You don't have to have hit 100% for you to get to the point. So I think it helps to put milestones. I do some project related work, and even as a freelancer, they don't wait until I've done 100% of the work before they pay me, because I can get tired and go like, you know what, this thing not even worth time. Let me leave your work halfway.
It's not when it's not government contract. Why would I be doing the whole work before I get payments?
But even some government contracts, they actually also put in milestone payments. So when you hit maybe 10%, when you mobilize, they'll give you something so that, because they know you have some running costs.
Absolutely.
Then when you get to 30%, in fact, on some of the projects I've been at, when we hit 30%, we go for team building. We go and
like, yeah.
We're there. You get to 60% again, you get some other milestone reward, get to 80%. So they don't wait till 100. And because I believe that sometimes that's why people get discouraged with their goals when they feel, oh, when am I ever going to get
a reward? And this progressive reward actually boosts the emotions, and it boosts the what's the word called? That enzyme that is needed to spur you on more. I've forgotten the name of it.
Happy one. The one that comes out when you have kids, when you bond with your kids. I'm trying to remember it. If someone remembers,
is it oxytocin?
Yeah, oxytocin.
So it gives you a release of oxytocin once you are hitting those goals, once you are hitting those milestones. You're not even at the goal yet. It's just the milestones and showing that you're making progress. It actually helps you to feel like, oh, I can do this, and it just helps you to go more and more and more. Okay. I love that your yogurt example. I'm going to get myself some and feel happy because yes, so here.
I know weight loss people are coming for me. I'm here for you. Don't worry.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Even the weight loss coach allows you to fit in a cheat day every now and then because they know that we need it, right? They know that we need it. Okay. So I have 6 questions to use to evaluate your goals. So sometimes I find that people find that, you just get to the end of the maybe quarter or the end of the season, which you wanted to review your goals, and you find out that some goals have not been met at all. You've not even made any progress on it at all, and you start to feel bad. So before you start to feel bad, here are 6 questions that can help you, to realign yourself and to know how to re-strategize for the next step. The first one is to ask yourself, was the goal specific, right? Because sometimes we just set goals and say, okay, I want to write a book, by March 2024. Okay, we agree you want to write a book. Were you sure about the book? Had you broken it down? Did you know exactly what you needed to do? Have you gotten your research? Did you find the coach? Did you find the resources you needed to get it done? Did you set yourself up for success? Or did you just say, I want to write a book and imagine to sleep and wake up and expect to have written a book? Do you understand? So number 2, was the goal realistic?
Can I
Yes.
jump in?
Yes,
So
please.
I don't also wanted to actually started writing the book, and then I had like maybe 3 years or something that I just was dragging my feet. Then I remember that it was just one morning prayer or something, and I remember Coach Brenda was the one that said something about how she writes. Maybe she sets about an hour a day to write, and I knew an hour a day, but I was like, okay, I have 30 minutes. So with 30 minutes every day, I sat down and I actually finished the book. I've actually got it edited and published, but I haven't launched it yet. I want to write 3 books
Look at
before I
that.
start my.
Imagine that. And it took you 3 years to crack the code of consistently doing 30 minutes.
Just,
Because sometimes,
just to jump into the fact that sometimes the answer may not be within you. I know they usually tell you it's in you, but sometimes someone else may be the one that you need to have a conversation with
absolutely.
and get us. She wasn't talking to me. She was talking to the community, and I picked it. It's
Absolutely.
gone.
Absolutely. So the second question was your goal realistic? So, for example, if you told yourself that, okay, because you heard me say that I write 1 hour a day, you now tell yourself you want to write 1 hour a day, of which you know you don't have 1 hour a day, right? You know, you looked at it, you heard what I said, and you looked at it in your own circumstances and found out what was realistic for you. And that was why you're able to keep it. But if you're just taking what I said and said, Brenda said, should I write 1 hour a day? You start killing yourself. You now find out that you are not able to do 1 hour. You're not even able to do 10 minutes because you are discouraged that you did not do the 1 hour. And so every
Exactly.
day, 1 hour go, it will go, it will go. Before you know, you face 24 days of not doing the 1 hour, and you just give up and say this thing doesn't work
Yeah.
because number one, it was not realistic. So first of all, check your own personal circumstances and check this thing you're setting for yourself if it's doable based on everything else that you have to do. Because to be honest, we know that God can do all things. We know that God is a miracle working God. We know that we are Christians and by the power of our word we can get anything done. Yeah. But in this goal matter, for what you are setting for yourself to be done, please, sister, try to be realistic. Keep your faith work for faith matters. This one is in the matter of what you are going to do daily, right? Good. So it's a daily, we're talking about your daily actions. That's what we're talking about now. We're not talking about your big dreams. Your big dreams can be impossible. They can be all of those things. But we're talking about the daily actions that you're going to use to achieve those big dreams. These are the things I'm asking if it is realistic. Now, the third question is, did I devote the proper resources? Like you said, it's not always in you. It's not always, you don't have it all. Sometimes you need to go and find resources outside of yourself to enable you to achieve the goal. Sometimes you need to call a coach. Sometimes you need to buy a book. Sometimes you need to buy a course. Sometimes you need to just go and get a training. You know, whatever it is that you need to devote to it. Sometimes you need to buy something, as in put money in something,
Sometimes
employ
you
somebody.
need community
Yeah.
and
So
people.
did you devote the proper resources to help you to achieve the goal? That's the question. Then number 4, your favorite one, I'm sure you like this. Did you have accountability?
I like
You
accountability.
know, I
I
mean,
thought you were going to say
it's a no-brainer. If you didn't have accountability, because life happens, yeah? We set all our goals in the beginning of the year, new me, we're excited, we're jumping and everything, and then you just wake up one day and life has happened. Things, maybe something in your office, something with your child, something with your family member, something with, and you just, those things are bigger than these goals you've written on the table. So you just pack them and say, well, I cannot come and die. It's who is alive that does goals. You will be focusing on being alive. So these things happen, right? But what accountability helps you to do, though, is to be able to, bring you back. So even when you've gone through the wave of whatever it was that happened to you, they're able to say, okay, so Brenda, we thank God you're back now. So where are we with this? And be able to bring you back into focus, be able to guide you, be able to talk to you. So that's what accountability does, because you're
okay.
reporting to somebody.
Can I jump in on that?
Yes,
Can I jump in on
yes,
the
please.
one? So I have a couple of friends that I do it too, but I have one in particular that maybe she and I will be on the call. She'll tell me all the great things she plans to do in a week and all. And I go back and check with her, and then she now tells me about some of the
Life
challenges
that
that she
happened.
has. And then she doesn't even remember what we talked about last week. So I'm like, Auntie, okay, sorry, after cuddling her and getting okay, I'm like, okay, so what about that stuff you said?
That we plan to
Did
do.
I can't remember,
You will
but
remember.
then I'm able to come back
Yeah.
because after we've gone through the way. Yeah, thank you.
That's absolutely, it's absolutely powerful. I mean, the book that I wrote last, My Diary of Former Lazy Girl, I can't get tired of telling the story. Whenever I want to start a book, I do a cover page first. I write my name on it, even if it's just a simple thing I did on Canva. Then I share it with my friends. I say, oh, this is the next book I'm working on. So I do that for accountability's sake, right? So once it's out there, I know that I can't slack. Now I have two particular friends who, maybe three of them, they don't even know each other, but they are on my case. Once I share something like that, I'm in trouble. If I don't want to have trouble, don't just share it where they are. So this particular one, each of them at different times hounded me until the book came out. Like, in fact, there was one of them. I was checking my notes the other day when I started writing that book. I can't even believe it. It must have been like 2 years that I wrote the first chapter, but I didn't finish it. And it was like, my friend kept on asking me every month, so where are you with that book? I'm like, I'm coming. Where are you with that book? I'm going through a lot. Where are you with that book? She said, okay, sorry. When are you getting back to it? At a point, I got tired of answering her because, like I said, this thing, you start to feel bad. You start to feel like, am I the most lazy person or all of that? So I now said to her, I said, okay, I'm not even writing the book again. Just leave me. Like, stop calling me. She said, no, you will write. As if she hounded me until I found a way to get back into the group. In fact, there was one of them who told me, go and put it out on pre-order. Once you post it on your page, you have no option, you must write the book. And she hounded me until I did that. So accountability helps in that way. The number 5 question is, what worked effectively? Now, you're here looking at your goals and you're evaluating it. So you're going to check the ones that have worked and ask yourself, what worked? So that you'll be able to, repeat what worked. And then what didn't work, so that you're able to avoid what didn't work. It's very important because, for example, this is our 1 hour a day writing thing. If you said, oh, I set out to write an hour a day, and it did not work. I set out to write it first thing in the morning, maybe 5 a.m., set my alarm for 5 a.m. to write it. But every time I woke up at 5 a.m., I was exhausted. I would snooze the alarm. I wouldn't get anything done. And by the time I finally stood up from my bed by 6, I wouldn't have the 1 hour I needed to write. And so I did not write. Very good. Now you know what the problem is, yeah? So what would you do better? Are you going to sleep earlier so that when you wake up at 5, you are able to stand up? Or are you going to find another 1 hour at another time of the day when you are more alert? Or what are you going to do? So it's important to, after what worked effectively, to ask yourself, how will I adjust next time? That was my question number 6. So these are the 6 questions to help you to review, reflect, and adjust your goals. Now, I'm coming back to you. So when we find out that we've asked ourselves all these questions, we've reviewed, we've measured our progress, we find ourselves short, what do we do? Okay, no, let me ask the question in a different way. If you find that there's one of your goals where you have not made any progress, or you did not make sufficient progress like you thought you should make, what should you do? Okay. Is that the time you start to beat yourself up? What should you do?
Answer, because I'm a believer. I'll first of all say, go back to the Holy Spirit. Is the one that gave you assuming is the one that gave you the goal to start with. So we'll assume he's the one. I believe that having honest conversations with God, because I'm actually in that place, really. There's something that I've been planning to do, and I'm like, okay, God, this one is not working. As in, what do we need to do differently? Because it's not bullying. Like, I know that most of it is time, but I realize that the issue for that is not really time. It's the fact that I don't think I have the clarity I need on what I need to do. Because sometimes if you look at some of those goals that you are not really touching, you're not going there because maybe you don't really have clarity, really.
Yeah.
And so you really need to spend a bit more time with the giver of the goal to understand what's going. And it just takes me back to Moses as we're reading currently. Sometimes you will still go and talk with God and get a bit more clarity. I don't think there's anything bad in that. I'd rather do that than jump and do nonsense, then have to restart all over again. I'm one of the people that I dislike rework. I'd rather not do it all and then get enough clarity, get the blueprints, and then run quickly rather than say. I agree that you take things in little steps, but I think that's correct if you at least know where you're going. But if you don't even have clarity, I think it's best to spend the time to gain clarity, know what exactly it is God wants you to do in that area, and then begin to run with it. So that's what I would recommend. Take some time first to get clarity, because when you have clarity, I think it also helps, and that's the why. It helps you with the why, and it gives ginger,
Needed ginger.
then you cannot begin to set the milestones and all of that, and take your yogurt when you hit the milestone and all that.
Okay,
Thank you.
I also wanted to add, thank you for that. I also wanted to add that the first thing is when you find that you've not met a goal is to not beat yourself up. You know, we need to learn to extend grace to ourselves. Sometimes we are able to, we are so critical of ourselves, we're so harsh to ourselves. Like, ah, God, you're always like this. It's always you. Everybody else is hitting their goals. It's always you. It's only you. You know, you start to, talk down on yourself literally, and you know how they say the words are life. So you should, as much as possible, give yourself grace and say, okay, Brenda, so you did not hit the goal, and you're not very happy right now, but you need to understand that you're still amazing. You still have all that you need within you to get it done. And if you need clarity, you will get the clarity that you need so that you can move on. And you sit down and ask yourself those 6 questions I asked. Why did I not meet this goal? Was I not specific enough? Did I not have a proper action plan? Did I miss something? Just ask yourself. By the time you sit down and reflect properly, you're now able to go to God and say, okay, but Father, I did everything. What did I miss? Yeah? Or is it not the time for this? Or what am I missing here? Or do we need to re-strategize? Did I not get the right, did I not hear you right the first time? You know how David kept on going back and back to God. Well, what did you say? Should I pursue? Should I overtake? Should I, will I conquer? Every single time he would go back and ask and ask and ask. I mean, we're presently reading about Moses in the book of Exodus, and where God had sent him to go and, go and chase Pharaoh and say, get my people out of here. And he went, and the first day he got Elah. He said, who is your God? Why should I listen to him? My friend, live here. In fact, people I do double their work. What's rubbish? And of course, the people turned on him to say, we were on our own before you came with your wahala. Did we tell you wanted to be free? Now you've gone to double our work. Our slavery is even worse. And of course, he felt bad. Of course, he went back to God. And that was the game changer. Most people will feel bad and say, I'm not even doing it again. They will do like Jonah and go and sit down and say, this is why I did not want to go to Nineveh in the first place. I know that these are your matters. I'm not even doing it. But Moses didn't do that. Moses went back to God to say, okay, I'm not happy. That's a fact. But what's really going on here? Let's understand, and that's the crux of what we should always do. When you find that you don't understand what it is, you don't understand why something's not going wrong, go back to the giver. Go back to the giver of the goal. Go back to God and ask him, what am I supposed to be doing here? What have I missed? And when you spend time in reflection, answers always come. Answers always come because God is always speaking. We just don't have time to sit down. We never really give the time that is needed. We're always in a hurry. We want to just do a quick 10 minutes prayer and get up and go. But sometimes you need time. You need to sit. You need to wait. You need to hear.
Okay, I want to share a story along these lines. So when I was studying for my postgraduate diploma, there was a course that I sat down. I was thinking. I thought, think, everything. And it wasn't working. So I just thought, I was like, you know what? I'm hungry. When you eat first, maybe it's energy from inside I need to get it out. So I was in the office. My office was on what they call Adetokunbo Ademola then in VI. So I was walking down I'm trying to remember the name of that road that has a TFC. So I was going to TFC to buy food. So I was walking down Oyinjolayemi, and just as I was walking, as my head was now clear, I wasn't walking on the problem anymore. I was just walking it, and just as I got close to the TFC, the answer just came. It was like it dropped from heaven, kind of thing. So the speed with which I ate my food that day, before the thing I quickly ate. Then I ran back and went to my seat. I quickly went to go and write down the solution before it will evaporate. And it was perfect. It was what I needed. So sometimes, like you said, that retreat is important because you probably your mind is too busy. You're not catching what God is trying to say.
Yeah.
So, and I think there's something in the Bible as well that says something about that our minds are busy and sometimes God needs us to rest. Then He will be able to reach us.
So you can hear. Absolutely. Thank you, Efwe. There's another thing that I wanted to share about sometimes when you find out that you have reviewed a goal and it's looking to you like this goal is not really moving, ask yourself, is the goal still relevant? Now, life happens, right? Life happens. I remember that in 2020, I turned 40 in 2020. And so I said to myself that, oh, before I turn 40, I wanted to learn how to ride a bicycle. I was going to be 40 in July, so it was my goal. I want to learn how to ride a bicycle, I want to learn how to swim, I want to learn how to all of those things. I was just like writing them. Like, they did not even really make sense. It was just me saying I wanted to do it because, hello, how can I be 40? I can't ride a bicycle. Like, what is that? Now, people of God, as you all know, by March of 2020, the world was turning on its own. It was a COVID thing. We were in lockdown, and truly riding a bicycle or learning to swim was not the issue anymore. They were not critical to my being alive, which was what all of us were looking at the time. I just realized that this goal is not very relevant right now. So thank you very much. Can you please move down the line? So it was simply because it was just an emotional goal for me. It wasn't like tied to any serious why that anything would have been affected if I moved it. So sometimes you may have some goals like that. Sometimes you have some goals that are nice to have. And if in the scheme of things you're under pressure to achieve it and you just realize that, look, this is not really that important, you know what? Move forward. You know, I learned from one teacher the other day, and he says, procrastinate with purpose. You will procrastinate this one on purpose. Like, hello, please go forward. I don't need you right now. I don't need you adding stress to me because you are not that relevant in the scheme of things. So that is a very important question to ask when you're reviewing your goals. Have you had any experience like that before?
Okay, I would like to add, yes, I have, but I wrote something down about being mindful of season shifts and as you go about your daily routine. You know, if you read many times in the Bible, for example, when the prophet told the king that by this time tomorrow, whatever will be sold for whatever amount, and it sounded ridiculous. We look at it and we are laughing at the official that couldn't believe. He was caught up in his day-to-day routine. He couldn't see that the season had shifted. It was now time for, he was used to scarcity, he was used to people then. It's just like someone coming to tell you that dollar will exchange for 2 naira by tomorrow.
Yeah, like
It doesn't make economic sense. What are you saying? But there's a shift. So if you're not careful, if you're not mindful, because you're doing everything, you're repeating, particularly for people that are very, very task focused, it's very easy for you to get lost in your routine and you don't know when God has moved and changed something, and then you're still stuck, you're still holding on. I liked what you said earlier about David always going back to check with God. And if you even check with someone like David, there was a time that he faced the same challenge twice.
You would have said,
God gave him.
but that's what God said that time. Because he was always going back.
Oh, he was always checking. So we need to be, while we are doing all of our goal setting and following our goals, we need to make sure that our goals are still following God. Otherwise, you'll be following goal, but you have deviated.
Absolutely.
You are drifting, but you don't know. But you are doing the things that you wrote down that you should do. So it's still. So to go back to that, so yes, I've had those experiences where sorry, can you ask the question again? Because this what I said just kind of got me off track
but you didn't answer the question. I was asking if you've had those kind of experiences where you had a goal that now became no longer as relevant. You know, you did not achieve the goal. You now found that it was no longer as relevant, and so you just wanted to just chalk it.
A lot of times. So, for example, most times what I've learned is that, and it happens to many of us, God told you yesterday to move. You didn't move yesterday. And
please don't go there.
Consistently, when God has said, okay, this job is no longer your job, but because you are so used to it, you are holding on to it, then God has moved. You are still in that job. So you are running through the motions, and God is trying to get your attention. And so for me, I think it was in January that I sat and I was like, I did a job for 14 years plus in a company. I'm working in the same company here in this country. I'm back to the same company. But then I was so angry because it was like, they're not rewarding me well. When you see that you're getting that anger, begin to ask yourself, has God moved? And yes.
Has he sent me away? I'm not hearing. Am I still doing what I'm supposed to be doing? You know? Yeah.
because many of us, we've gotten so used to that routine that when they are telling you to move, it's comfort. You're comfortable. God is saying, no, no. Not like when he was there, when the raven was feeding Elijah. Then it was time for Elijah to move. The brook had dried up, but Elijah was still used to raven. It was time for him
If you
to
are going
go
to
to
bring
that.
food, don't stress me. This way I'm
Don't
coming to
say,
collect my food. But you know,
"Oh,
and that's how one of my coaches always says that comfort is the burial place of kings. Anywhere
thank
that you
you."
are comfortable in, just be careful. Once you start to feel comfortable, be careful, be on the alert because you are losing something. You know, you should be constantly on your toes, constantly checking what's next, what am I supposed to do next. I mean, I'm listening to the series by TD Jakes on instinct, and he says that many of us are somewhere where we are in hiding. You know, he gave the story of Moses and said that how Moses was being hidden in his mother's house for 3 months, and he was never going to become something until he was launched out. Like some of us are still hiding in our houses. Some of us are still hiding, you know, the thing that God is planning to use to bring us out. We are still hiding it and cocooning it. Yeah. And it's the comfort of being in that place that's making us want to come out. Meanwhile, we can see our instincts are telling us that there is more, you need to launch out to get the more, but we are not taking it. Hurrah! Collect it, collect it, collect it.
That everywhere today.
It
Everyone
will
said that we should use our voice. That God is, are you speaking? He's
he's
speaking,
speaking,
man.
he's speaking, he's always speaking. We are being hidden. We are hiding, you know, what we're supposed to launch. The thing is supposed to launch us as what we're hiding. Moses' mother had been praying for a savior. They were all slaves, praying for a savior to save them out of slavery. She gave birth to the savior, but she was hiding him in her house.
Wow.
Until she released him and put him in that basket and let him go. That was when he got into Pharaoh's house. That's where he got the build up for the assignments to come back and come and save them. If she had left him hidden in her house, there would be no Moses. In fact, guess what? Do you know Moses had no name? He was just the baby. It was until he got to Pharaoh's daughter that she named him. She named him Moses, pulled out of water. He had no name. The Bible did not
We had to do
record
what
the name. They did not record a name for him before that time. He was pulled out of water. Pharaoh's sister gave him that name. So she had been hiding him in her house, hiding the savior of all of them, you know, and until she released him on the water. That was when, you know, he could get into his own destination, his own destiny that included saving them. So what are you hiding in your house today that is supposed to be released? What is that? What is that thing in you that is supposed to be released? And you're looking at it as if, oh, this go wala is too much. This thing that God sent me to do. You know, and you know, you said something about when God has told you to do something, you didn't do it, and time has passed. Do you know how many times you wanted to do something, you've been told to do something, right? You did not do it quickly, and then you look up and somebody else is doing the exact same thing. Has that happened to you before?
very many things.
It's the
And
most
then
painful, it's the most painful thing ever because the person will be excelling in the thing and you're thinking, I can even do it better than you. Come on.
that one that used to pain me because they're like, this person, okay, no, she didn't say that to you well. She didn't do this one. Like, shut up, you did
You
not
were
do
the
it
one
when you were
that
supposed to do it. Not
asked
do
first. Did you do it?
it.
We are seven,
Better go and learn on that.
we are
I
7
think
billion in the world. 7 billion of us, God's children. You are wasting time. He's moving.
it moves. So I think I can't remember where I heard it, where someone was saying that I think you were the one sharing that someone was saying that she went for a course and when she came back, she was telling her husband that she can teach the course better than the person that that taught
That she
them.
got it from.
Yes, and she got her dressing that okay, you can teach it better, but you're there, you're hiding yourself under a bushel. Some people are bold. I remember back in university, I was a member of Believers Love World. I know they used to make all of these programs and all that were for the big people, but we used to go like we are just students now. We don't. And my pastor would go like all those club boys that are organizing club parties. Are they not students? Are they not doing it? Why? And you have the Holy Ghost. You want to be doing
You want to
small.
play?
Meanwhile, these ones that don't have the Holy Ghost are taking over the school.
They
Well,
are
my friend,
seated.
get out and go to the program.
I love it. I love it. I'm seeing the comments. Sylvania Emporium says, the opportunity cost of comfort is stalled destiny and not fulfilling purpose. Absolutely. Absolutely. Many times when we sit in our comfort, we're missing out on fulfilling our destinies. We're not fulfilling purpose. And the worst part of this is not only about you. So many people are tied to you fulfilling your purpose. There's so many lives tied to yours. So you're not, oh God. I mean, the day I got a reset was when I heard that, delayed obedience is also disobedience.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So some of us, we hear, we know what we're supposed to do. We heard clearly, we're clear. In fact, we know. We'll not start saying, what about if? What if they don't receive it? What if they don't like it? What if people say? What will they not say? What will my husband say? What will my father say? What will my colleagues say? And then you start analysis paralysis, and you don't move. And then, of course, somebody else moves. And then you now come and then you start crying to God. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello. Or maybe you now come 1 year after. Okay, I'm not ready to do that. I said there's one of the things that I was told to do. I went to Iban the other day. They were giving me a flyer advertising the same thing. I collected the flyer because I was going to call the number to ask them how market. I was humbled. I collected it. I was like, hey, God, I saw it. I've seen that type of business like 3 now. I was told this thing maybe more than 5 years ago.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to share so that we will all take dressing. It's very bad. Yeah, FSS dedication, how somebody wrote her book like this. Exactly. I remember I listened to that one. It's really crazy. And that's really the truth. Sometimes you need to ask yourself, did you give the right, I talked about this resourcing thing. Is your level of resourcing adequate for this goal that you did not achieve? And the resourcing is not only money. Resourcing is time. Resourcing is information. Resourcing is support. So look at the resourcing you've given to this goal. You wanted to do something. And there was something that TDJ said in one thing I listened to. It said something about your goals will never come out from where they are. Your dreams never come out from where they are until you have the right team with the same mindset pushing it for you. So some of us have the same people with our skill sets. We are surrounding ourselves with people with the same skill set as us. Meanwhile, you need people with different skill sets, but the same mindset. So all of us have this winning mindset of achieving the goal, but we have a different skill set. So if, for example, I'm a writer, the other person is a coder, the other person is a marketer, so we have complementary skills to be able to achieve the goal. We can achieve it. But you surround yourself with only writers. And all of us are writers. How are we going to help ourselves? I'm a thinker, all of us are thinkers. How do we help ourselves? You need to find people with complementary mindsets. That's setting up the dream team to be able to achieve the goal. So that's part of the resourcing. Have you given it enough money? Have you given it enough time? Have you given it enough information? Did you find out what you need to do? Have you given enough support? That is, have you gathered the team that you need to do it? Don't spread your resources too thin. If you find that it's not working, extend your deadlines. To know that nobody died, right?
Exactly.
Nobody will die. Extend your deadlines, right? Identify additional resources you need when needed. You cannot do it all by yourself. You need a team member. You need to hire somebody, virtual assistants, hire. You need to hire them because no man.
Sorry, Coach, can
I
jump about hiring people? Many times, a lot of us have this mentality that I'm the only one that can execute perfectly. So even when you bring people around, sometimes your attitude is even chasing people away. That's what you need to bring them. Because I know some people are trying to hire help for everybody said they don't want to work with her because our life is too much. Sometimes they're even billing you higher because they know your behavior is. So let's know that there's money to add. So I think those are also things to look at as you are reviewing goals. Some of the things that are important to your achievement is maybe the way you treat people, the way you talk to people. You probably need to look at that as well. And for me, for a long time, people kept trying to explain to me, but for me, I was like, oh, that one's just slow. Don't know what they are talking nonsense. I know, but like I said, I had a fixed mindset. So I needed to go for that kind of course and be in a place where it was easy to break down and let me see why I needed to change a couple of things. So sometimes the problem is you, it's not the devil.
Oh God. Sometimes
It's you.
problem is you. I listened to a video today by Pastor Jerry's wife about how her anger and her stubbornness almost destroyed their marriage. And as I was listening to her, after listening, I started to smile because I could totally relate. Then I started to read the comments, and somebody just wrote there that, oh my God, all the while I thought it was other people. I didn't know that the problem was me. And she had like 1,000 and so likes. Like people were like, oh, thank God for you. Don't worry, you're going to be fine. Only that knowing and accepting, acknowledging is the first step. There's so many comments on that, and I just felt that it was really brave of her to just say that because it seemed it was her eureka moment. As she listened to Pastor Jerry's wife speak, Mrs. Jerry. I mean, she kept on saying she did not know in her house she didn't grow up with peace. Their peace was when everybody's abusing themselves. They only call it not peace when they start to exchange blows. So they're abusing and talking like that, it was normal. That was their peace level. So imagine marrying a man that grew up with peace, and every time that she was arguing and he looked at her like, why so cantankerous? She said that her behavior was even affecting his ministry because sometimes he didn't used to speak to her just so that he would not take offense, because you cannot hear from God when you're in offense. I mean, it was really bad. And this was herself, she admitting by herself. And I felt it was really very profound, and many people needed to hear that sometimes that you are the cause of your own problem. Sometimes you are the reason why you're not getting ahead. You're the one that, you give yourself excuses every day. I cannot come and kill myself. I had an engineer in my former company, we used to call him Engineer Kosheshe. So so he, how architects would design, we design flying roofs and fantastic things, and then you now give it to the engineer. It's okay. So how are we going to do it? Get like, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
Uncle, your job is to tell us how to make it possible. That's your job. He says no, it's not possible. So at the point we just go and give it to engineer. Engineer means it's not possible. It's not going to be. It's not. Able, we can't do it. It's not doable. It's impossible. That's what we started calling Engineer Kosheshe. At a point, he started to laugh, and he had to start to, taking a second look at it, because your mindset, like you mentioning, it can either make or break you. If your mindset says it's not possible, then it's not. But if you rather ask, how can this be possible? You start to widen your mind, and you start to think about options, and ideas will start to come. Okay, Ephesus, what about when you start out with the goal and then fear creeps in? You have it all set up, but are afraid to push it out. Amazing question. Do you want to take a go at that, or should I?
I'll give picture, then I trust that you'll top up.
Okay. Anybody with
So I'll
questions? It's time to write them in now. We're about to round up.
we're about to round up. I've missed my 8:45 appointment, so I'm going to explain myself.
Oh wow.
Okay, so what about when you start out with the goal and then fear? So again, fear. We know that fear. The Bible says that fear has torment, right? Fear is not of God, something of the sort. So you have to address the fear. The fear you cannot allow. It cannot be the reason why you didn't achieve your goals. So it's an obstacle. So you need to treat it just the same way you would treat not having money. You're not going to say, oh, because I don't have money to achieve my goal, I will not achieve it. You're going to ask yourself, how do I deal with a lack of money? The same way you have to deal with the fear. You've identified it. I think you are like better than 80% of people, because a lot of people perhaps not point at the fear as the issue. They probably will say, oh, it's because my mother spoke to me in one way and something, but the issue is the fear. So you have actually gone a long way by identifying that the issue is fear. So what are you going to do with the fear? Are you going to allow the fear overcome you, or are you going to confront the fear? Because you can't go back to God and tell God that the reason why I didn't do what you told me to do was because I was afraid. It didn't work for her. It's not going to work for you.
Amazing. I love that. I mean, as she was speaking, I heard there's something I used to teach in my goal setting classes where I say fear has two meanings. It can be flee everything and run, or face everything and rise. The Bible has recorded 365 do not be afraid. It goes without saying that you have to take one a day. God already knows that you'll be afraid. That's why he spends so much time saying, do not be afraid, do not be afraid, do not be afraid, do not be afraid. Because he knows that fear is normal, it will come. It's part of the human makeup. However, everybody is afraid. everybody, even the people that you find smashing their goals, people that you find going on stages and speaking, we are all doing it afraid. How are we doing it, however? We're simply writing down those fears and you're converting them to affirmations. And you're speaking it to yourself often enough until you start to believe it. Right? You start telling yourself, I've got everything that it takes. As you want to set up on that goal, you start up with it, you write your affirmations, and you speak it to yourself in front of a mirror every single day. And say to yourself, I've got this. People would want this thing. I have value. I'm providing value, and people will want it. People will flock to me for it. And you keep on saying it to yourself until you believe it, because your brain will believe it. The brain is wired in that way to believe what you say. So no matter what you're thinking, what you're saying can convert it, right? Until it starts to believe it, and then the brain sends the signal to your whole body and it starts to act. Now, the only way to combat fear is with action. So as you are afraid, you are doing it. As you are afraid, you are doing it. This thing, I don't even know how it's going to be. Just keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. When the body has seen that we are moving, the fear will disappear. It would absolutely evaporate. The only way to combat fear is with action. So action will dispel fear, and the clarity will come better in the doing. So just keep
Sorry, can I just add something again to that? I remember back in 2020 that we had the October 20 incident. I know, so a lot of us had a lot of, whether it's mental breakdown, there was a lot was going on in a lot of people's minds. I know, and there was a lot of bad news coming from here and there and all of that. And so it got to me for a long time, because I was like, oh, how does one even move forward in all of this and all of that? Because I was traumatized. I was watching the live session. So I just had moved to do that, let me do some work. And by the time I got back, we're seeing blood and all of that. It really traumatized me, and it paralyzed me for a while. But as we are reading all the bad news, you now read that a fintech company got bought over for something billion. I was like, are we all in this same country? It's a Nigerian company. It's not as if they're in Togo or they're in another country. They're in this same.
And they were homegrown boys. They went to school in Ife. They did not go anywhere. They're not coming from Harvard.
They
were here
coming from
homegrown.
I was like, nothing different from these people, look. Because newspapers are set up so that is the bad news that you are seeing up to page 20 or something. Absolutely. So what I now started doing is that if I'm reading newspaper, I'll go to page 21. Let me go and read the one that is good news. So I began to fill my mind and my space with more positivity. Not to say that one would ignore the bad news and all, but so it got to a point. In fact, there was a time that I had to stop and ask myself, because we have a WhatsApp group for my grandchildren, my mom's siblings' children. A lot of we are there, and I noticed I was always the only ones posting bad news. I was not
bring out bad news.
And I was like, it's like I'm a toxic person in this family. Let me stop. So I now started getting more intentional about looking for good news, so that at least what I'm hearing, let it not be that it's always they are shooting in Ojota, avoid it. So I was like, wait, so it's only me that's always posting all this one. They're always posting
happy. They don't know how to tell you.
What type of human being is this? So I had to, like I said, I needed to work a lot on my mindset. And fear hides in all of those darkness, all those, what are you consuming? If you're spending a lot of time, I know that was the time when we said Pabuari was doing bad, but a banned Twitter, it really helped me, because I stopped seeing a lot of bad news. I had to be on LinkedIn. I know they said LinkedIn people are always pretending, but they're always giving good news. Yes. So it was helping my mindset.
The good news app. Oh, I love it.
This place, you see somebody, I just resumed that so place. So I was like, okay, let me to see all those people, and you go to places, people are giving testimonies of how they got their PR. I'm like, why is it that my own is just to know that they are shooting in Ojota? It's a bad.
And I noticed that when I started to filter what I watch and what I see, even the algorithm has started to favor me. When I open my Instagram now, I'm not seeing the bad news. I'm not seeing the all the other things. I'm seeing positive news, and it's giving me the right mindset for the day. So it's really good about being intentional about what comes in and what goes out. And yeah, thank you for adding that. So we have gone far beyond our time, and some people are going to bite us. We said 7 o'clock, so we have to round up now. Thank you so much for coming today. I really had a fantastic time. Does anybody have any other questions? If you have any questions, this is the time to type it in now while we quickly round up. Now, this live is Women's Matters, has come to you courtesy of Women's Growth Academy. It's a community of women who love God and who are committed to growing in love and in God and themselves. My name is Brenda Onu, and I'm the lead coach. If you want to join us, you can click the link in the bio. My guest today has been Adenike Adibola. She's also one of our community members. She's our amazing Adenike. And we also together belong to TOCI. We have seen all of our family members on the call. Thank you guys for joining us. And it's really been an amazing session today. Thank you so much, Adenike, for the wealth of wisdom that you brought in, and the angles which took this whole goal setting, and how you really taught us a number of things, even with the stories that you shared. It's been an amazing session. And to think that I just dropped it on her this morning, as in, if she had time to prepare, Uncle, how would it have been? Oh, more superstar. My superstar. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you, everyone who has joined. And so, one last thing, if you have one last word you want to share with people, if they forget everything that you said, what's the one thing you want them to go away with before we go?
Reward yourself. Okay, I'm joking. Okay, this is the major thing. Like I said, I'd written down that I actually didn't even expect to be on this live this morning. If you had asked me, I didn't think it was something that I thought I would do. I'm more of a behind the scenes person. I told Coach that I don't like IG lives, but I know that God intended for us to do this. So one thing I'll just stop and say that as you're setting goals, as you're reviewing goals and all of that, still put in some time to enjoy life. Don't overshadow yourself. So for me, I put in time to watch TV. I have some shows that I must watch. So they help me, because sometimes your brain needs to stop doing that thing. Remember the story I shared, rest, so that then it can recreate. Rest is actually an important part of creating things. Thank you. And yes, I have many besties, and this is to all my besties. And if you haven't joined the Harry, come on.
Come on, collect form. Thank you so much, ladies, for hanging in there. Thank you for everyone who joined. I hope you've been able to learn something. And if you came late, you can catch the replay, which we'll be saving immediately after this. Thank you so much, Adenike. Thank you. I do not take your joining for granted, especially as I know that this is your family time. We were still at early evening, but you're already at family time, so we need to let you go now. Thank you so much. I say we're sorry to your darling little girl that we took our time. That to not happen again. We'll schedule better next time.
I told her that I was going to be talking with Miss Brenda, so she was happy about that.
She gave permission that no, please. Yeah, carry on. That's my bestie. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining, and it's been an amazing evening. Have a good evening. God bless you. See you again same time next week by 6 p.m. Bye-bye.